Alright y'all, so welcome back to another video. Looking for a few orders back here to pull, and so this is 1089, and I still got a lot of stuff and this craziness behind me, but it is nice when stuff sells in this system. Just be able to go back here and find it. I can actually hold a camera and still pull it out. Don't have to pick up 5 bins and then dig down at the bottom. So this is 189, and then I'm looking for 175, which is going to be, yeah, just right here, easy peasy. Don't have to waste all of the time digging through all this stuff, pulling it out. Just exhausting labor. But anyway, in 175, this is just I believe it's a new with tags, Abercrombie and Fitch. It's like a swim top. The only reason I picked it up is because it was brand new. Otherwise, I probably would have left it. That sold for $7 plus shipping. The 1089 is a pair of Patagonia. I think they're like rain pants or shell pants or something like that. Those sold for $25 plus shipping. They came from the bin, so probably only costs like $1.50, and the same thing on the Abercrombie and Fitch bra, it probably costs like 50 cents. Alright, so I'm looking for some REI pants, and they are in 1067, which is going to be in this box right here. See, man, this is money. So much of time put back in my life to train, to read, to do the stuff that I like to do versus out here. I think I was calculating wasting at least, I would say 5 to 8 hours a week pulling items. I mean, just because this system here just it doesn't work. It works if you got like 100 items, but when you got 6,500, it's going to be a disaster. But these are just a pair of REI pants. They're like the trail pants. I've sold quite a bit of this kind of stuff, especially living up in Oregon for the majority of my reselling career. Goodwill bins pick up $1.50, and they sold for $20 plus shipping. In the 5 years since I had this channel, I've never been able to pull orders and then basically tell you guys about them at the same time. Usually my process is I have to find everything in these big heavy bins in order to have the items, because there's no way I could hold a camera then basically lift weights right here pulling this up. And so, man, this feels great to be able to do that. So I'm looking for, this is 541, and so it's basically a Columbia rain jacket. I found this one down at the Goodwill bins probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago. It's super light. It probably costs like $1.50 max, and I got 17 plus shipping out of this one. All right, so all these clothes down here and these 3 Rubbermaids, oops, almost fell down, are basically items that I found down at the Goodwill bins this week. So I only went 2 days. I went on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is typically the 2 days that I go throughout the week. I found 230 items, and you probably can tell from the videos, but I took the entire month of June off from sourcing. We're at the end of July now. My wife gave birth early in that month, and initially I was going to only be home for 2 weeks, but once I got to the 2-week mark, there was still quite a bit of stuff I wanted to do, and so I just kind of took it week by week. So that 3rd week, knocked that out, and then by the time the 4th week came, we were right at like the 4th of July period, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go back to sourcing after that, and it worked out well. I was helpful around the house. There was a lot of stuff that got put on the back burner that I got done in my garage, because a lot of times when you're sourcing, listing, shipping, cleaning, rinsing and repeating day after day, a lot of stuff that you need to do kind of gets put off, and so I was able to get that done. And report back to you, my sales really didn't dip a whole lot. I was still selling stuff each day. I had a little bit of inventory for like the first half of the month, but then it basically ran out, and I was just really fixing listings, just kind of doing that kind of stuff, and sales didn't really drop a whole lot. So if you're in that situation where you feel like you need to take some time off, you've been wanting to take some time off, but you feel like if you do, things aren't going to sell, just not true. I mean, I didn't put my store on vacation or anything like that, but I was basically in low gear and just still was able to sell stuff. All right, so I'm looking for this Murray State jacket. It's going to be right over here in 1127. So the Murray State Racers, and they were basically put on the map by Ja Morant during the tournament. I forget how long ago that was. Pretty good player. He got in a little bit of trouble up in Memphis, and so they parted ways. In Portland, my old stomping grounds, basically my second home, always will be home. But anyway, the Blazers picked him up on a steal. I think he's still a great player. He's going to do some big things up there for them. They got basically a diamond in the rough. I think he's only like 26 years old, so I think that's going to work out quite well. But anyway, this is a jacket, the Murray State Racer jacket in 1127. I found this one probably like 2 weeks ago, and I think I got 14 or 15 plus shipping out of this one. Well, it's nice to pull stuff from the back wall back there in the box system. I still got quite a bit of stuff, as you can see, in the bin system, and so that's where these came from. Basically had to get a quick workout in to find both of these. So these are some Vanderbilt shorts, Nike, and this is, I guess, the matching polo as well. And I guess this guy's a huge Vanderbilt fan. This is actually a local sale. I think the guy's in Nashville, and altogether he spent $49 for the shorts and the shirt combined. And I got both of these from the bins. They probably weigh like a pound, maybe a pound and a half total. So all together, as far as cost of goods, probably somewhere between $2 to $3. So don't believe everything you see and hear on social media. Reselling is hard, man. And if you don't put the right systems in place, it's going to be hard, and it's going to be very, what's the word for it? Let's just say difficult. But anyway, I was telling you guys when I was home for that month, not only was I putting clothes in this boxing system right here, but my shoe system was even a disaster. And so the system I had was, I would just, whenever I would get shoes cleaned, I would just put them in a random box, and the boxes weren't numbered. They weren't skewed. So basically when a shoe would sell, I would just go any, mini, miny, mo. I think it's maybe here. And then it's not here. And then you have to go through 6 more of the boxes and wasting 15 more minutes to find a pair of shoes. And so, man, it was just a headache. And so what I did during that month that I was home, I basically skewed all of my shoes. And so they're in these boxes now, the same process. But now when something sells, I know exactly which box that they're in. So I found some, I think in this, I'm looking for some Nike sandals. They're right here in this top box. I'm actually not going to pull this box down with the camera, but I'm just telling you this just to kind of let you know that it's not always like it seems. That I was wasting a ton of time just even pulling shoes. But now, like these Nike sandals sold, they're right up here in box 7. I can pull this box down, pull the shoes out, and move on about the day. All right, so easily pulled the box down. Got the shoes right here. Probably took, once I put the camera down, 30 seconds. Pull the box down, grab the shoes out, boom. So these are just some Nike. I forget what the actual model of these are, but they're not the water or the shower slides. They're a little bit more high-tech than that. But anyway, Goodwill bins fine. Probably they're a little bit heavier than just the regular sandals, so probably like $2, and they sold for 15 plus shipping. So I told y'all I went to the bins twice this week on Tuesday and Wednesday. I found 230 items. And so this is probably the coolest thing that I found out of all the 230 items. I found an NFL jersey like this, but I've never found MLB. So this is a pair of Chicago Cubs. And here's the MLB logo on the back. Here's the Nike check. So I've sold quite a bit of baseball pants over the years. So I've never seen the Nike embroidery like this. I've never seen the MLB patch like this. So I knew this was something more. So if you look inside of the waist right here, this has like the custom MLB sizing for this particular player. So these are basically some game issue, game worn pants from a player. And I did some research yesterday. And so these numbers right here just indicate the game, because I guess every game in MLB kind of has like a number to it. This was the season 2022, and the 34, 39, 17. The 34 is the waist size, the 39 is the hip size, and I believe the 17 is the inseam. And so I was trying to figure out which player it was, and so you can see here, this is number 33. And so I looked that up just to try to see if there was a little bit of what's the word for it? Just a little bit of, I guess, some tie to Nashville. Why would his pants be in Nashville, basically? But anyway, I did some research. Number 33 is basically Ryan Rollison, I believe is kind of how you say it. And so he grew up in Jackson, Tennessee. and so this is basically home for him. So he still pitches for the Cubs. I think he's one of the relief pitchers. Still pitches for him, and so I'm guessing maybe he came home to visit family. Probably had like some old game pans from the 2022 season, which was 4 years ago now, and probably just didn't see a need for them and just tossed them. And so they ended up at Goodwill, and these don't go for crazy amounts. I've just been doing just some random comps from just other MLB game worn pants. I think you can probably get right around 100, maybe more. So I think a lot of times you hear about stuff like this and you think you can get 15,000 bucks for it. I don't think that's the case in this situation. I did get 300 for that John Casey jersey. If you've just been kind of following my journey over the course of the last 3 months, that one sold literally within the first hour. So I listed that one for, I think I listed it for like $2.99, and I kept getting 150, 220, 200, but nobody wanted to spend like the full 300. So I knew right away that was probably a good price, and then within probably an hour, some dude just bought it. But I don't think I'll get that much for these right here. So I'm guessing they'll be 100, but these probably only cost probably like $2. And this was probably one of the first things that I found on my last day, which was yesterday, and so that was pretty cool. All right, so this is another item that I had to dig out of the bins, and it's basically this Peter Millar summer comfort polo, but the thing is it has a custom embroidery, the Woodford Reserve. And at my bins, and probably most bins across the country, a lot of times when people see any sort of name or any sort of logo that they're not aware of or familiar with, they'll basically just throw it back. And usually that's where you can come in if you can do the research and make money, because a lot of times some of those names or embroideries have value, but people just A, don't know, or B, don't want to do the research to figure that out. But anyway, this probably cost $1. Yes, probably $1, and I got 20 plus shipping out of it. All right, y'all, so I got to race my mailman now. He's probably going to be here within an hour. He usually comes pretty early on Thursday, which usually is my first day back home, which is probably one of the busier days because I have like 2 parts to my week. So I source at the beginning of the week, and then I have to try to get reacclimated to being home, being in the midst. And so Thursday is usually like my level set day to kind of start the second half of my week. And so it's usually pretty busy. So I appreciate you guys for coming along with me. This is where I'm going to cut the video off at. If you got anything out of it, like it, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch y'all right back here on the next one. Succeed.
This might be all that I know. Think it's okay. I've got a long way to grow. At my own pace. Go the long way. No one taught me how to walk, but I figured it out fine.